Well, good morning. Today is December the 15th, and I seem to have lost my mustache somewhere. I don't know where it went. I got a little carried away. Anyhow, that was 50 years of no, 60 years of a mustache. I never shaved it off. That's how proud I was as a little teen, junior teen. Anyhow, what I want to say to you is, is that I was there 35 years with the same bullshit that's going on now. It's nothing new. They're bullies. Some of them are bastards. Some of them are just plain losers and yes men. There is a whole collection of idiots, right? This has not ended all the time, no matter what. And this has been going on since I started in 1981. So it's been bullying supervisors, overbearing managers, setting up employees for discipline, going after their shop stewards for representing you when you're in trouble. It just goes on and on. So what you're experiencing now, especially if you're a new person, if you're a new person and you've been legislated back without even being on strike, they pass a legislation, then you haven't experienced the Canada Post experience. It's wonderful. You lose money, you lose faith sometimes, but you know what? You're all in it together, as the Beatles once said. I am you and you are me. We are all together, and that's the truth. Whether you're retired, whether you're a temp, well, forget the gig worker. That's another story in itself. But you are all postal workers, and you have to respect each other. Maybe you don't like the person, right? Maybe you could just learn to tolerate each other. But the boss watching you fighting all the time is not a good thing. So, just one moment. I had a note. Yes. Okay. So, sorry about that. So anyhow, the situation I'm watching is that there's newer people, and welcome to the Canada Post experience. The newer people come in and just like me in 1981. That's why I am you and you are me. I come in 1981 and I said, why are they always at odds? Why are they always cranky? Why are they always grumbly? Why are they angry? Why are they militant? And now you're finding out. You get whacked with this enough times. For me, it didn't take long just watching supervisors abuse my coworkers. So I became a union rep 6 months after I started. As soon as I did the probation time of 6 months, I was a shop steward because I can't stand to watch it. You might run off to one corner and say, well, thank God they're not after me. Well, they will be after you. That's the problem. And it doesn't go away. They just want to fight with you, keep you all stirred up. And here's another favorite of theirs. When somebody does something, they punish everybody. That, you know why? Because they're idiots. They don't know how to deal with the one-on-one, right? So what you do, oh, it's your shop steward's fault. Shop steward's fault. The guys in Ottawa, you know what they're doing? I could remember when we were on strike, I think it was 1991, our union had an opportunity to buy the Quebec, or it was the Ottawa equivalent of the BCGEU government workers building. And it was cheap. They were going to give it to them for a song. So they agreed they would take money out of one fund and put it in the other, and then end up structuring to pay it back because it was a deal. It was less, the mortgage on it at that time was less than what they were paying for rent on the building they were in. Made all kinds of sense. And they still have that building today, and it's beautiful. And it's old, but it's beautiful. So Ken, the Post spreads a rumor. Your union in Ottawa is broken. They're out borrowing money. They weren't borrowing money. It was their own money, and it just in a different pot. Instead of calling it, education fund, they called it the house money or whatever. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. But that's how it starts. See, the boss says, oh, look what your union's doing. Look what your union's doing. That's all you ever hear. Look what they're doing. Look what the shop steward's doing. You know what? This all has to stop. This is your Canada Post experience. This will be one of your many. If you plan sticking around 20 or 30 years, this will be your regular experience. Bullies, losers, harassers, womanizers. I mean, it just doesn't end. So, and they're not. You can ask any employer if they would hire a Canada Post supervisor if they got fired from Canada Post? Would you hire them? Even if they had a record of recommendation? No, they won't, because they know. I worked with a guy, and he said he just started as a casual, and that was in when they brought casuals in, and that was around 1990 something, right? So anyhow, he said, I worked as a young student as Christmas help in the plant. I don't know what year it was, 60 something. It was a long time ago. Anyhow, he said, you know what? I only worked there for 6 months, but that experience was up here forever. And I came back because the union was stronger, and the union wouldn't take the same crap they got when they worked inside. And they structured the Christmas help too, of course. So anyhow, that's all I wanted to say is that, respect your shop steward. What a lousy job that is, representing people that call you names behind your back, think you're not doing anything. When you're taking all the courses you can do whatever you want, only because no one else, some of them, only because no one else wants to be shop steward, but you need one. It's a very simple job. Is you're representing the members. You go phone your regional office before you go in to represent them and make sure you're doing the things you're supposed to be doing. And all you're doing is basically a note taker and defending your members and asking them for stuff that they're trying to criminate your client with. So it's very simple. But show some more respect for that, because you don't want to be a shop steward. He or she did. For you, not for them. They already have a job. Just like me. I'm out in the picket line now. I'm retired. What do I got to lose? I go and join them in Ladysmith, British Columbia. Only because I feel the solidarity. The union is a movement. It's a feeling more than it is an organization. It feels like you're bound together with people with the same vision. But you know what? When you jump at a reaction when Canada Post is going to do something, well, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to go back to work. Do you think a handful of you folks that want to go back to work, let's say, use a typical quiet station like Scarborough or something, not as big as the Toronto downtown, and you say, I'm going to go back to work, screw you people. Now, you think Canada Post is going to let 4, 5, 10, 20 people into work when there's, first of all, no work, right? They want you out of the building. They don't want you in there. So you think you can just walk across the picket line and go to work? No, doesn't happen. You'll be crapped on the rest of your life, and Canada Post will kick you out. So that will always be a stain on you if you try and cross the picket line. So the reason we're at the stage we're at now, and I say we because we are all together, right? The reason I say that now is because here we are, Canada Post with their typical BS and bullying, who has billions of dollars in a building fund, apparently, according to a news article, billions of dollars, 200 million for the plant in Vancouver when their mail volumes have dropped. You're all being punked. That's what's happening. They're telling you a bunch of BS. So here you are getting all worked up. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I mean, well, monkeys are going to fly on my ass before you do it. So I had it up to here with people that say, I was so mad I almost said something. And I said, why didn't you say something? Well, I almost said something. Yeah, okay. That's what I don't like. You're either there or you're not there. So this is a feeling. This is a feeling that you have solidarity, and there may be some people you like at work. There's some people, doctors don't like at their own job, or police, or military. It's just a fact of life. So you tolerate each other at most times and be respectful with each other. Because the last thing that you want is two employees belly to belly yelling at each other, and you know what the employer does? The employer comes out and says, you suspended, pending an investigation. You're terrible people. Instead of breaking it up when he heard the noise, he pulls down the blinds and hides in the back room or heads off to the washroom or outside for a smoke. And then when it gets so bad, someone says, oh, you better come, their fists are flying. Oh, where's that? Yeah, come on, please. They're a bunch of cowards. They're cowards. They're yes men. Look at them. They're pathetic. They don't even know. You ask them something and they run in the office. You know why they're running in the office? They got to phone somebody and ask them. Because they have no requirements other than, this is what I'm telling you to do, you do it. So they do it. They don't know why they're doing it most of the times. I've ran into, let's say, a few really good supervisors that knew their stuff, and you had that relationship of steward supervisor. So they knew their stuff. You weren't into fights all the time. There was no gray areas. It was either black or white, and okay, well, we're not going to move so you can file a grievance. And that was it. It was a straight relationship. But now they're backstabbing, sniveling cowards who hide behind their supervisor badge so they can tell you what to do. What they want from you is the same as the public, where the boss tells you, here's your task for the day. And if you don't complete that task, we're going to have to get rid of you. And you go, well, what if I can't? Well, then that'll be up to you. Then you might have to stay on your own time. This is what they're doing. They're pretending like there's no union. That's what they're pretending, because basically, if you look at it now with all the fighting, it looks pretty bad for the union. They pretend like that. Then they start ordering you around like you're somebody making, minimum wage in your province. That's what they do. And they say, well, you know what? We'll get rid of you and get somebody else. And they'll be cheaper because we got these new crowd coming in and they're on a lower tier. So we'll go do it. Don't finish your task and see what I do to you. And that's what they do. So you don't want this job of clerk, letter carrier, let's say post office worker, to become the shitty, crappy, ugly job you left with a boss that's threatening you at every opportunity they have. Is that what you want? Well, you're getting it. So I say, listen to your union, and this business of calling your national president, whose hands are pretty much tied with the Constitution, and the fact that you got a divided membership that keeps calling names to the union reps, they are in an awful position. If everybody was out on the picket line and everybody was solid and told the boss, you know what, screw you. This is where you're at. You're at the person in Ottawa you're blaming for your attitude, or the attitude of people around you that think that the regional officers corrupt and the national officers working a plan with Canada Post. Stop it already. That's ridiculous. You're making a fool of yourself talking like that. So learn the Constitution and you'll find out why national officers do what they do. It's in there. Everything's in there. There's no hiding anything from you. There's no hiding money from you. There's nothing. It's all a lie. It's almost like Canada Post has become the Donald Trump of the labor world in Canada. Canada Post, this thrives on sort of half-truths and misleading statements. So be very careful. And when you get back, ask for everything in writing when the boss wants to say something. Can I have that in writing, please? When you get that old feeling, you wonder, well, I don't know if I should be doing that. Can I have that in writing, please? They won't give it to you in writing because they know it's wrong. So that's what you have to do. Start growing a pair and move on from there in the workplace. You are a proud Cup W postal worker that almost, I would say, every Canadian woman under the age of 60 has enjoyed maternity leave. The Jean-Claude Perrault went to prison because he wouldn't order back his workers. They wanted maternity leave for the women that work at Canada Post. So there's a little piece of history that if you're on maternity leave now or on it or were on it, you can thank your people that work with you, because that was where it came from. It came from the union. Canada Post didn't want that, neither did the federal government, but that's where it went. It went like dominoes. It just started falling. Started with us, and then the federal workers, well, we want what they're having. Then the provincial workers, we want what they're. Before you know it, it became government policy. So anyhow, that's the proud union you're in. I don't know what I'm looking at here. When I read some of these comments on Facebook, I don't even know what I'm looking at. That's not the union I was in. I was in a union that was tough and didn't take shit from anybody. And now we're in a union with some, not all of them, but running like little scared rabbits from the boss because, what's he going to say to me when I go back? Well, who cares? He's just a puppet for whatever that guy's name is in Ottawa. I don't know. Anyhow, I just thought I'd get it off my chest and have a great day and listen to your national officers. Stop listening to fake news and a friend of a friend told a friend something. You'll get it in time with plenty of time to organize what you're doing. So anyhow, have a wonderful day and keep up your spirits and try a little solidarity. It always works. Thank you very much and have a good day.